hello, hello, hello. It's 5 p.m. South African Standard Time, and that's the time when we go live. Let me just check if I'm live. I hope you're good, and if you are watching this for the first time, please click on the subscribe button. Let us grow this family, this community together. And today we're talking about spiritual gifts, spiritual legalities, people literally understanding what their gift is. I can't find my channel. Okay. Malebo Old John. All right. I'm hoping that YouTube is letting you know that I'm live. Let me update to my people on YouTube. On Facebook. Okay, I see there's one person who has joined. Hello, how are you? All right. I'm gonna wait a bit so that we tag people and people understand that I'm live. Okay. I see there are 3 people who have joined us. Today we're talking about, am I feeling worthy of my gift, understanding spiritual legalities, and also understanding your gift. When you log in live here, please let me know who you are. And remember, if you are logging in for the very first time, please subscribe as well. With the 3 people that are here, please like the video, because I've heard that when you click on the like button, people then get to see that those things, that I'm live or whatever. Yes, so please, as a vote of thanks, as a thank, because I'm doing this session for free, really. So please do the right thing, beautiful people. I'm going to be live with you just now. Today, at least, I'm faster than the other day. Okay. All right. So I hope that you have joined. You have followed my podcast on Spotify or on Apple Podcast. This is where I speak about a whole lot of things. I love podcasting. Someone said that I'm a what is this, a broadcaster or something like that, and I laughed and I was like, what do you mean? But right now I feel like that was actually meant for me, but also YouTube is meant for me as well. I just do these things with grace, right? So today we want to talk about, am I feeling worthy of my gift? This is what I'm going to start with, and then coupling it with understanding your gift. And then the last part of the video will be about spiritual legalities. Right? So, am I feeling worthy of my gift? We come into a time in our lives already. We are born into a religion, we are born into culture, we are born into a lot of things that we don't question. I mean, when I was in maternity leave, most people, or even my mom, told me that for her to nurture me during that time. I need to go home, even though I'm married. I need to go home so that she can nurture me during that time, that 3 months period, or however long I would want to be on maternity leave. And I questioned that, and I was like, why do I need to go to your house if I am married and my husband is very busy? So my husband is going to lose the first 3 months of our son's life, because he won't be able to be traveling in between Mafikeng and Centurion, because he's very busy on weekends, right? So that is when I developed that thing of, questioning, trying to understand why are people, or why do, why do we behave a certain way? Why do we feel a certain way about ourselves? So we have this thing as well called a spiritual gift. Now, when we want to understand our spiritual gift, we have to understand that we were not born into uh, 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 we are not this part of ourselves. We are not a body. We are actually a spirit that is having a human incarnation, right? A human experience. It's more like you are inside of a car, and when you are inside of a car, you are traveling inside of a car to Cape Town, you are traveling inside of a bus to Durban. You are not the bus, you are having a ride inside of a car or inside of a bus, but that is not your identity. So even with us, we need to understand that beyond this body, we are just not the body, we are a spirit, and our spirit had it had a what I call a soul contract way before you came into fruition, way before your mother had you inside of a womb as a fetus, way before. You had an agreement that you're going to come into this lifetime and you are going to do a certain thing like that, right? But what we do is that when we come into a human form, we start becoming we start forgetting who we are, and we start becoming that which we are faced with. Okay, so for an example, when I came into human form, part of the things that was going to help me become a healer was the problems and the tribulations and the challenges that I faced when I was a child. And I mainly talk about it that at age 4, my parents had another child and it hurt me. And then at age 8, I was sexually abused. So when we think, when we start going, like myself, when I started going through this life, I started growing what they call a God wound, thinking, why God, why did you allow me to go through such a horrible thing? Why did you allow me to to go through that? Why couldn't you stop that person? But also I remembered, if Jesus didn't go through what he went through, there was not going to be a religion called Christianity. There was not going to be people, there were not going to be people who were going to be sitting around and saying, I believe in Jesus, I believe Jesus is the Son of God and all that, if crucifixion hadn't happened. So it was part and parcel of the things that Jesus, or the challenges and the problems that Jesus had to go through. However, Jesus did not become those problems. He did not become, that is why they say he overcame the death, and in 3 days time he woke up and all those type of things. Jesus did not become that. However, with us, because we forget this thing, we forget that even the children that you have, there's a quote that says, your children are not yours, they actually come through you. They had an agreement, you and them, me and my son, we had an agreement that he's going to come through me, and through me there's going to be something that I can help him with, so that it can be part and parcel of his purpose, right? So the problem with us is that we forget about who we are, because there are things, and I say we have one God. There is no any other God. There's no God for Christianity, God for Muslim, God for Hinduism, God for whatever, right? We have only one God. That's it. We have only one God. However, there are many different channels to this God. There is a God through Christianity. There is a God, but people connect to God through Christianity. People connect to God through, something else. This person. Can I call you back? I'm still busy. Sorry about that, guys. I know she was going to call my other phone and then it was going to disturb this live, so I had to. So, there is one God and different channels to this God, right? Now, when you and I, people who were born 2000, like 2000 after Christ, 2000 years after Christ, it means that we have been born into a religion. And like I said last week, I spoke about you defining who God is for you, because you already, when you grew up, whether you grew up in Tanzania, you grew up in Dubai, you grew up, wherever you grew up, already you were coming inside of a religion. Already people were defining who God is according to Islam, according to Hinduism, according to Christianity. And to be very honest, most of us never knew who God is beyond the boundaries and the limitations of religion. So because of that, we come again with things that have been taught in religion, that there are people who are called and there are people who are chosen. Already, whether you want to explain it in a different form, when you tell me that there are people who are called and then there are people who are chosen, already there's favoritism there. Why are there other people chosen and then why are the other ones called? So the called and the chosen, what must they do? Already we are defining that God is not we are not in the same level with God, right? And then again, we are told that you need to live a certain life, especially because I know in Christianity, we need to live a certain life in order for us to hear from God, right? To even make it to heaven. There are things, the rules and regulations that we need to adhere to in order for us to become better people, right? And in the process of that, we then look at ourselves. If you are fornicating, if you are drinking, you are doing all the things that you can be doing, right? If you are doing those things, you look at yourself that I am not worthy of hearing from God. Even if God is speaking to you, already you have demolished that. You have already a mindset that tells you that if you are not living this way, if you are not living a righteous life, then you are not going to know your gift. You are not going to operate from your gift and all those type of things, right? So this is what happened to me. A day before I actually healed my father, a day before, I was poop drunk. I had, I was enjoying myself. I was drinking, and not drinking like 2 glasses of wine like holy people do. No, girl, I was drinking from 9 p.m. until the next morning. But the next day, that is when I started, or 2 days later, that is when I started praying for my father. And I think on the fourth day, and I still believe that by that time, still alcohol was still in my system. A bit of alcohol was still in my system. So when I prayed for my father, that was the very first time when I understood, Hebana, this girl has got this gift. Huh? What is happening? That day, on Thursday, after my father was diagnosed of a whole lot of things, I spoke about them. I think I spoke about them on the podcast. TB, pneumonia, and all these things. On Thursday, I went on my knees and I prayed for my father, and I declared that my father is healed in the name of Jesus. I prayed how I could pray at the time. And guess what? The next day, my father was discharged. And I couldn't believe, not because I couldn't believe that I could pray, but what I have been taught to believe about gifted people, what I have been taught to believe that gifted people are. So I was taught that in order for you to be gifted, you have to live a certain life. So I went to church, of course, and I listened to gifted people telling me about God and teaching me about God, and I appreciate it. I still appreciate it even today. But I never in my mind thought that would be me. I thought gifted people, the called, the chosen, I never thought I'm part of the called and the chosen. But here's the thing. All of us, the reason why we are here is because we have a gift. There is something that you have agreed with God with and said, I'm coming. Mina, you said something. You said, I am coming here into this lifetime for a certain period of time. And that is why I always tell people about death, that death is not a mistake. Death is not something that that we shouldn't cry with, because spirit does not die. The body dies, but the spirit does not die. So you have that contract with God that I am going to come into this lifetime until this day, and then I will transition to being something else or somebody else, whatever, right? We'll talk about it as we progress. So, but again, we come into this lifetime already. The people have already told us that here is the holy book, the Quran, the Bible, the whatever. If you don't follow this, you are not going to have 1, 2, 3, right? So the worthiness of our gift, even the worthiness of ourselves, our money, everything is around this idea of who God is in our lives. There are people who don't believe that they can have money, not because they can't have money, but because they have been programmed to believe that they are unworthy of money. So the gift is it's equally the same thing. We have been told in African spirituality, there are people who they are spiritual. They call them spiritual. We are all spirit beings, and we are having a human incarnation. We are having a human ride. This human ride will end. We don't know how it's going to end, but whether it ends in an accident, whether it ends in a sickness, whether it ends with you just closing your eyes, but it's going to end eventually, and you're going to transition to another place. And I was talking to one of the people that it looks like when people transition, that is when they realize the great teachings of the people who didn't put it in a book and teach people this is how you converse with God and all that, right? Because most of the time I always ask myself, I spoke about this in the podcast, the cradle of humankind is 3.3 million years ago, right? There were people who were living here in Africa 3.3 million years ago. However, religion, the oldest religion is Hinduism, which is 4,000 years ago. Christianity, the most famous one, and the second well-known religion is Islam, which is 2,000 years ago. So before those times, before 2,000 years ago, how were people connecting to God? And this is how we need to then get out of this, this programming and actually connect with God. A lot of people, when I found out my gift, when I was 16 years of age, I was already told again by somebody else that I need to go and twasa. How many of you have been told that? Like, you don't even know what is this thing of twasa. You are 16 years of age. I've seen Banaba Banyani, and I watched this Adam celebrated Sangoma, who said that's awful that a 14-year-old will be taken to the initiation. Go to your life in J, it's control, because when you are 14 years of age, what do you know, right? What do you know when you are 14 years of age? So even myself, when I was 16 years, somebody came and said, no, you need to go and twasa. That is when you see that you have a gift. Your gift has always been with you, even prior to you being born here on earth, right? And then I just decided, okay, my soul directed me to church. Like, there's no one who invited, and even when people trying to invite me to church, really, I don't come to that. My soul directed me to a certain church, right? So I went to that church. I still go, even though I don't go every day like I used to every Sunday, but I still go to that church, right? So when I then said to God, okay, I see that I do have a gift. What must I do? I am ready. There is a time that you get ready for this. And I said to God, I'm ready for this gift. So let me know, what should I do? And God directed me. According to Christianity, you need to be initiated in a certain way. According to African spirituality, you need to be initiated in a certain way. I said my gift is a spiritual gift. It's not a religious gift. It's not anything that has to do with religion, because even in African spirituality, or what they call African spirituality, is influenced by religion and certain things. Or if you don't do exactly when you hear people say, if you don't do, the only way to do this is this, just know that you are inside Benekan, inside the religion, because spirituality allows you, it comes from your soul. It allows you to explore what sits with your soul, because you had an agreement with God. You didn't just come here and then you, hello, I'm here. No, you came here with God, and God is inside of you, so He's guiding you through your soul. So that is how I did it. And no one can come and claim that I'm a Christian, I'm a whatever. Of course, my religion is Christianity, but my spiritual gift, I am practicing it in a what my soul guides me. I had a dream. My God said, this is how you are going to do this gift. You are going to heal people this way. I do not have any muti that I give to people. I don't have nothing. All I know is that was the agreement that I had with God in that dream. And I woke up and I said to people, hi, I am doing healing sessions. When you come to me, I didn't even know what I was going to do. God said, when I relax, if you're saying you are ready, let me guide you. So I started being guided by God the way I know how, right? So the worthiness of the gift, you have to go back to understanding what has religion or other people taught about yourself. Some people are not affected by religion, but in the household, inside of your house, people were telling me, no, you are not worthy of it, and you grew up with that programming. So now you know that you have a gift, but you feel unworthy of it because people have been telling you that you are not worthy of anything good. So you need to go back there. If you need help in healing, I'm not about initiating people to being healers or what. I've never been given that mandate yet, right? But if you need any help when it comes to healing and worthiness, so that you can accept and operate in your gift, then you can contact me for a session. All right. So I've covered the part where you must understand that your gift does not come now. Maybe with me it was 2012 when I realized it, but it has always been with me. And whether I practice this gift in a church, whether I practice it anywhere, you can be a healer and go and practice your healing as a doctor. There are other doctors, they don't do anything. Literally, they just put those things and then you are healed. This medication in order for you to be healed. But some, because it's within their gift, within their calling, they don't have to go through that. I have to close with spiritual legalities. Now, when you know your gift, you have to understand this. There's actually a Bible verse that talks about that. To whom much is given, much is required. This is spiritual legalities, spiritual rights. When you now know your gift, you don't go fast to anyone. Hey, I'm seeing an accident coming. You know those people who will just pull you in town? Well, they never did that to me. I only had one time when I was having a problem with my boyfriend at the time, and these people pulled me and asked me about a shop. Apparently, those are people who are stealing people's phones. But they pulled me and said, where is this shop? They are looking for the sister and all that. And then it jumped from looking for the sister to now, I can prophesy here. And I was like, hell no, you're not going to do that. Hell no, go and look for your sister, prophesy where your sister is. And I left them there. You know why? Because in spirituality, there are spiritual legalities. You cannot jump. I can't come to you. You see, me as a healer, I've spoken about it on the podcast, that I do have my office of ministry. And even you, when you are learning about when you are learning about your gift, you learn that you have your office of ministry. So my office of ministry is healing, right? But because this a spirit that gives this gift is the same spirit. If you are a prophet, you are operating from the same gift as or the same spirit that I have as a healer, right? If you're a teacher and all these other gifts that you may be having, right? So I can also see, guys, there are times when scroll on Facebook and I can see people posting, oh, I'm beautiful, I love my husband, and I see that these people are going to divorce. And I can't now try to say, hey, on inbox, I see danger coming. What? No, 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 no. One, you ask God, why are you telling me this? God will say, I'm telling you this because this woman or this man is going to come to you and you have to help them mend their marriage. And I say, okay, that's good. And then I write it down on this day, I saw this. I have files, guys. I have files. But you don't go to people and start telling them, prophesying them. If you get people who are doing that, tell them, I did not give you permission to do that. Of course, in the spiritual places, spirituality, there's no secret, so you can see anything. Anyone who's spiritually inclined can see anything, and some people are working for the dark, some people are working for the light. So if you didn't come to consult with anyone, if you didn't go to church willingly to go to church, if you didn't go on to somebody's life who says, I'm prophesying, if you want to me to prophesy you, and then they just start doing that, you did not give them the legal right to do that. Even God himself, do you guys know that God himself cannot, there are things that God cannot do. For an example, if you have caused somebody pain, right? And then you want to come back to God and say, God, do something for me, or protect me. This person wants to harm me. God can't do anything because you open that thing. So it's a spiritual legality. It's things in the spiritual world that you need to understand of. And let me make an example again of Jesus. Jesus' mandate in life was to come and become a master, right? These people that Muhammad, Buddha, and all these people, they came here with an agreement that they're going to be masters. So there are healers, there are also masters. So that is the reason why they say a religion was formed after they passed, because they were coming here as light beings who are going to help people transition to another dimension, right? So Jesus knew that he spoke in the Bible. It says that one of you is going to betray me. I want you to think now, if you are Jesus, you can see, oh, one of you is going to betray me, but it's part and parcel of the purpose that Jesus came for. Okay, so now if you are going, the other thing that I did a short clip explaining that, praying for people. If you were going to pray, God, please stop people from betraying Jesus, you are interjecting the plans of God. You understand? So the spiritual legality says, unless somebody comes to you and say, Malebo, pray for me. There are people who come to me and say, please pray for me. And I pray for them. Or I tell them that I don't offer prayer. What I offer is healing. So if you are interested in coming, you can come and let's understand what is your problem. But I will still, when I do my prayers, I will still pray for them. There are people who would say, you know what, my child is sick, please pray for those people. But I can't come and now, because there is some problem that I'm seeing, and then that is maybe some other person God is revealing to me, and then I start now, I want to pray for this person, that God, there is reasons why that person is going through what they are going through, whether it's good, bad, right, or wrong. There is a reason why. Now, toxic or corrupt religion, because we came here, guys. The Bible came with people who were very, very corrupt. I wonder, why did we trust these people to teach us about God if they themselves did not even have God? They came here, they took our land, they caused a whole lot of trauma that you and I are still going through, are still healing from, right? And then we trusted these people. They were corrupt. And now they want us to interject the plans of God. Like, there's this joke that people mainly use. They say, when you don't have money and you're borrowing money from me, I'm like, I don't want to interfere with what God is doing in your life. It's true. There's something that God is doing in a certain person's life by not having money. God wants them to go around and, get tired of not having money so that they can start seeking the teachings that will teach them about healing their money story. So when you want to be another Jesus, and that is not your role. Jesus died, it's fine. Jesus did his role, it's fine. Whenever you want to be another Jesus, fixing and saving people's life. You are there. Hey, I want to pray for the world. I want to do what I want to do. It's good. It may come from a good point, a good intention, but have you heard from God first that you needed to pray for the nation? Have you heard from God first that you needed to pray for Malibu? Have you heard, or you just felt like, oh my goodness, I am bored and I think I want to interject the plans of God? No. Some of us, we see these things. I see a lot of things, like a lot, but if you are not going to come to me, I'm not going to tell you, oh, I see this coming in your life. Oh, because some people are not even ready for that which you are going to tell them. Some people, you are going to tell them that I see a car. They were not ready emotionally. They were not ready spiritually for that which you are telling them. Now they are going to buy a car that they were not supposed to buy because you said you are prophesying them with the car and all this type of things. And then now these people are going to buy a car. After buying a car, the car breaks down and all that. Now they are angry at God. They grow what we call a God wound. They are angry that how God said I must buy this car. That prophet Mama Malebu said those type of things. So when you have your gift, when now you understand your gift, you need to be responsible with your gift. I go to clubs, I go to events, I go to everywhere, and I see, oh my goodness, I see, and I ask God, why are you showing me this? No, I'm showing this because 2 years after here, this person is going to come to you and this person is going to need this type of help, but this is where they are right now. Okay, then I'm fine. If there is any message that says God will say, this one is ready, I will go and I will say, this is what I am seeing in your life. Pray about your marriage. I will not say, hey, I am seeing a divorce. I'm seeing another woman coming into your life to break your marriage and all those type of things. These are what we call responsible healers, responsible gifted people. Yes, I think I have spoken. Hello, Minor. I think I have spoken. I think we understand each other. So, episode 4, we're going to also talk about this idea that people often say that when you are gifted, guys, again, all of us are gifted. When you are gifted, you struggle. Your ancestors, they make you struggle. God make you struggle. Hey, struggle, and people are struggling, and they are saying it's the ancestors and all that. Next week we'll be talking about it. I'll see you again Tuesday, 5 p.m. If not, because we have a session at work, I'm going to pre-record it because we are celebrating Women's Day, so I'm not sure until what time. So I might do it as a pre-recording and premiere it at 5 p.m. South African Standard Time. Otherwise, guys, I am so happy that we have reached, I think now we are left with 6 tickets for the Heal Your Love Story a hike, which is just a 5-kilometer hike with beautiful waterfall, and we're going to have a beautiful time healing our love story. This is a session for couples, a session for individuals, a session for everyone. So I put prizes for individuals and prizes for couples, and we also have a massage, a spa day retreat where we're going to learn about our money story and also our love story. Why should we have money and love? A lot of money and a lot of love. Oh, yes. Thank you so much. I will see you next week. And remember to subscribe, click on the bell button, and share this content. Go, if you haven't watched the podcast, go to the podcast. And did I say watch? If you haven't listened, yeah, to the podcast, go and listen, and I will see you. Thank you very much. Goodbye.